This is another week of live trading for the month of August 2023, starting the week off with this Pan W, which was one of my top gap up watches this morning, gapping back up to where it fell from, leading into earnings. Also got bought into it, so it definitely has its faults, but seemed to be holding up on the intraday, sensing a lot of relative strength since the market was selling off this morning, so jumped in as it set up a 123 on the 2-minute. Got some slippage on the way in since it was spready, but also had a big stop. Two things I'm not a big fan of, because even with this decent move up, it was only up about half an hour. So decided to let it play out as it started to pull back. Also, market was slowing down to the downside, so hoping it would hold up. Then as it set up a 123 on the 15, I decided to raise my stop under it since the market triggered a sell setup now and was making new lows, which ended up trailing out and taking a small loss on it. Then I went after the NKLA. This was not a true gap, it was a secondary offering, which don't usually move, but notice this one had a nice move up this morning and setting up a sell setup. Had a nice 123 on the 5-minute with a penny base, so decided to short it. I was able to get 10k shares on it before it became hard to borrow on toss, so went to my backup platform on E-Trade to get some more shares. Tried to add to it on the way down, but lately my E-Trade has been acting up. Almost all of my short orders would get stuck on pending hard to borrow and would take like half a minute for it to locate and go live, which was the case for this NKLA. Ended up getting to the prior lows, which is where I took it. I did end up getting out of my toss shares a bit early, thinking it was going to flip, just because I know it was going to be tricky trying to get out of both positions using two separate platforms at the same time. And with toss orders known to get stuck, I'd rather not deal with that and mess it up trying to flip it long, so gave back a whole R on it. Then in the afternoon went back to the NKLA for a short again on the sell setup, but didn't end up going this time and pretty much stopped moving for the rest of the day. I did try this FFIE as a breakdown off the fraction base, but didn't get filled and called it a day. Tuesday at the open, I focused on the NKLA again as it was on my carryover list for a scalp short. Again, became hard to borrow on toss, so I had to get it on E-Trade, but didn't work, losing about an R on it to start the morning. Then reshorted it as it looked like it was a shakeout, breaking new lows on the hourly. Also saw the LUMN, which I got triggered in as a swing short. Decided to scalp it as a day trade as well, making new lows on the daily. Not an easy read, so didn't get much, but made a few cents on it. Then back to the NKLA, which worked out better this time on the short, able to get back the R I lost plus more, putting me up an R&a-half now. Then lost it back, trying to reshort it with the delayed orders going live at the worst time. So that was my fault for not canceling in time. But it based again, giving another sell setup on the 5-minute, so got back in. Don't mind that CERS position that was shorted by accident trying to get the NKLA. Just perks of using two different platforms. But anyways, what I noticed about the NKLA is that it takes up a lot of buying power, so couldn't really add to it as it set up a 123, but didn't matter because it popped on me instead as I was raising my desk. So I did miss my exit, and what was up over 2 Rs is now down an R. That's what sucks about these scalps, is that they can turn on me in a blink of an eye. So I decided to trail it over the offer, but thankfully it held and came back in, getting to the prior lows before trailing. Then I saw a tight base on the EBS for a breakdown, a little bit novice on the gap, but still looked lower, barely got filled, and didn't move much before popping hard. Then the afternoon went dead, so didn't do much and finished the day up 5 Rs. Wednesday, I watched the NKLA again, just because the gaps list have been drying up now that we're winding down earnings season, but was able to get 9k shares on the hourly sell setup before it became hard to borrow on toss again. Made a few cents before giving it right back on E-Trade with my orders going live at the wrong time again. Then accidentally shorted 30k of Lumen instead of the NKLA, just more perks of using two separate platforms. I can't believe I still make these mistakes, but thankfully it didn't go anywhere and was able to get out break even. Then I tried the MTTR as a 123 on the 15, but immediately failed. So I tightened my stop and trailed out, then got in the correct stock this time, the NKLA again, but took all morning to move and took it as it hit the prior lows on the hourly. Then I ended up giving back an R on it as I retried it off the lows, but flipped on me. And for the rest of the day, it was pretty much a ping pong match with this NKLA going back and forth without making much progress. And that was it. Thursday at the open, I did the AMC, which was gapping down on some news. Had a 1-2-3 on the 1 minute, but it was on an uptick, so couldn't get filled. Then saw the NKLA selling off again as well, so shorted it as it's making new lows on the hourly. Couldn't add to it because my orders kept getting stuck on pending again, but had a nice drop and unfortunately got slippage on the way out, but still made 3 Rs. And if you keep wondering what I mean by my orders getting stuck on pending, I pulled it up to show you. I've been having this issue on E-Trade where I send the order, but it stays on pending and takes a while for it to go live. I'm guessing it has something to do with the Morgan Stanley merger. I don't know. Then I tried the Vizio short off the base breakdown on the 5 minute, but only got filled 500 shares of the 5,000 I had out, so couldn't make anything off of it as it hit my target. I also got back in the NKLA short as it set up another sell setup, this time getting filled, but of course ended up popping instead. Then the afternoon went dead again, even though the market was coming in big time with Nvidia reporting and selling off, but didn't come across any great opportunities to take advantage of it. Friday, I tried to get most of my trading done the first 30 minutes because I knew Powell was speaking in the morning, and whenever that guy talks, the market gets super choppy for me, and I tend to take it easy. So it was a bit more aggressive at the open here. Of course, trying the NKLA right out of the gate, but this was the first time it was fully available on toss, which is probably why it didn't work. Then I did the ASX. Usually I wouldn't take an ADR right at the open, but got in it long as a 1-2-3 on the 1 minute. I was targeting around 820, but decided to trail off the pop into 815 under the 2 minute since big dog Jake Powell was getting on the mic. Thought about taking the whole thing, but decided to just take half since there wasn't much else to watch and wasn't sure if I would find another entry back in, so kept the back half. Of course, it comes all the way back down, almost trailing me out by a penny, but then rallied right back up, making new highs, which is a very bullish move. But decided to take another lot under the 2 minute off the rally, and unfortunately, the last lot ended up trailing out. Meanwhile, I did scalp the NKLA again, which made about an R, then saw the EXTR going climactic. Tried it over the 2 minute, but ended up killing it early because it didn't go right away, which was a mistake because that ended up being the bottom. Then took it easy for the rest of the day until right at the end, I caught the FFIE short as a base breakdown, was able to get almost a penny on it, but took a lot of slippage on the way out because I tried to get out in lots with limit orders because I didn't want my orders to get held and called it a week. So that was another week of live trading, mostly focusing on the NKLA this week. I've been getting some comments on my trading routine video about how I only made 1K that day and how it's not worth all that time and energy, but I have no control over what the market gives me. I'm just trading what I see. If there's opportunities, I'll take it. If not, I sit on my hands. So every day, every week, every month, every year is always a mystery. And I'm just trying to do my best to bring in positive cash flow, whether it's $1,000 or $10,000, right? But time to go enjoy the weekend. Hope you do as well. As always, I appreciate you for being here, and I hope to see you on the next one.